Little story about this real footage. My name is Melly, and I'm gonna turn myself in. But I'm in a suitcase because they arrested me, and I had to get on a private jet, and I don't want them to see me.
Like I told you, a lot of the stuff we don't need because we have all this evidence already. Now's your time.
You really need to think about what you're going to do. Because now is the time to try to be honest and try to make things right. Okay? If you got in self-defense or something, you need to let us know.
I did.
What happened?
Somebody at the tomato pulled out.
Who?
One of the kids.
Somebody you go to school with?
Yeah.
Same grade?
Yeah.
What's he go by?
I think he goes to the alternative.
Alright, what's his street name?
I know his last name, Gillespie.
YNW Melly has ran into a massive issue for the future of his court case. So bad that rap OG Boosie even spoke on the situation involving his mother.
Okay, so
then I met his mama while he was in.
Oh, okay.
I met his mom while he was in, and she real, bro. You know, she real.
You stressed out. I heard she had a.
Yeah, she real, and I reached my hand out to him, cause I'm real. Yeah, I reached out to him, bro. I met his mom, and she a good woman, bro. And when I see them mamas like that, it remind me of what my mom was going through, bro.
For context, it was just revealed the lead detective Mark Moretti in YNW Melly's trial had an incident with Melly's mother, Jamie King. A statement released this week would read, "We received a complaint by an attorney representing Jamie King. King is the mother of Jamel Demons, the given name of YNW Melly. YNW Melly's lawyers filed a motion in his case seeking Brady material against the detective. Brady material refers to information that could be used to question the integrity of law enforcement officers who testify in criminal cases." It even continues reading, "Details about the encounter between Melly's mother and Moretti were not available Thursday with one exception. While the incident took place on October 12th, 2022, the complaint was not filed until this month, as allegedly YNW Melly's mother, Jamie King, was called in for an interrogation interview with Mark Moretti. Once arriving to the police station, Mark Moretti wanted YNW Melly's mother's cell phone for evidence for the case. However, she was not giving it up. This then caused Moretti to try grabbing it from out of her hands, causing an injury going down. As let me take you back 7 months ago. January 2nd, YNW Melly's mother and YNWB Slime did a No Jumper podcast interview. Jamie King can be seen with a cast around her hand. Once Adam22 asks her what happened, she mentions a police officer was responsible for it. Not wanting to get into full detail that could cause Melly's case to mess up, Jamie King would hint towards it being a Broward Sheriff's officer, and more importantly, someone very high up in the ranks. Now, this isn't the first time we're hearing about shady police tactics by Mark Moretti either, as he did something incredibly wrong to YNW Melly's manager 100K Track.
Did you, as a trained investigator, Jameson Francois to be deported to Haiti, even though he's been in this country since 5 years?
Yes, sir.
Did you, in fact, that he would not get fed and get any medicine in the jails?
I don't know about that in the conversations.
Do you think a witness who tells you something that you don't like really gets to the truth?
Objection or irrelevance.
When you questioned Jameson Francois, were you alone, or did you bring immigration officers with you?
We were at the Chrome Detention Center, so of course the immigration officers had to be there.
As that was YNW Melly's lawyer yelling at Mark Moretti on the stand. Why this is so important is because Mark Moretti did something very disturbing to 100K Track to get possession of YNW Melly's cell phone, basically telling 100K Track, give up Melly's cell phone or be kicked out of the United States. That cell phone contains practically 90% of the evidence that the prosecutors are using against YNW Melly. Evidence such as the incriminating text messages between YNW Melly and his girlfriend at the time, if you truly read through the lines.
Moving on to Friday, November 9th, 2029-20 UTC 2018. Message from Melly Montana to, again, that baby. What does that one say?
You don't with me anyways. I peeped it. You can slide, but God knows I wasn't in her and real breaking. You spoiled everything was given to you. You act like a some slide. I keep Orton with cuz at the
As Melly's girlfriend was telling YNW Melly, you need to stop seeing YNW Bortland or I'm basically gonna break up with you. Where YNW Melly says absolutely not, as Bortland did one of the realest things in his life for him. And this is even without mentioning the other evidence on Melly's phone of him admitting to doing the crime.
The PZ Gambino account asked him if he was okay, and his response was, I did that, and placed a smiley face emoji.
And the next message from 10/26/2018 at 16:02 from Eastern Standard Time. The YNW Melly count says what?
After that, SHHHH.
And could you please stand and point on the right side of the screen exactly which part you're saying where the YNW Melly account says, I did that?
I did that. This is the thread ID. This is the text. This is the author. This is the recipient. Then you come down here, same thing. The ID is for the actual message, which is just specific to that one message. Then the thread ID is the actual continuation of continued message.
Also found on YNW Melly's cell phone was a very strange video link that was saved in his notes. In this video link was a Facebook live stream of YNW Melly and YNW Bortland's reactions 8 hours after the crime occurred, basically showing these two didn't even care that Juvie and Sack Chaser just passed.
Hey. You see him? Melly still turned regardless of what happened this early morning. He's still out here being very positive. Turned still. Hey! The dog still turned, regardless of what happened. You already know.
However, Mark Moretti and the families of YNW Sack Chaser and Juvie know if you want to get the worst out of YNW Melly, mess with his mother, as this is exactly what they've been doing. We learned that YNW Juvie's sister allegedly reached out to YNW Melly's mother, Jamie King, on social media.
What's been going on in the courtroom?
Well, Anjanette, it's been a very interesting morning. It did start off earlier with the defense bringing up an issue. Apparently, Juvie's sister posted on, I guess, one of the social media outlets, and she said that she was going to Jamie King, and so that caused a big, issue in the courtroom. It wasn't anything that we got on tape, but it did happen this morning. It was on the record, and she has a bodyguard now. So that was one of the first issues that the court dealt with this morning, and it was interesting because the judge did basically say, if you needed more security, I can get it for you. Ultimately, it was determined that the security she had, the bodyguard, was going to be enough. So
now, shout out to Reddit, because we had to do some digging to find the sister. Now, this is the sister, Ashley Monique. And let me show you the post that she had posted on Facebook, because, honey, it was quite the stir. So she posted this screenshot from Jamie King, YNW Melly's mother, and she said, pest control, who called about. Now, that was in regards to a post made by Trayvon Glass on his Instagram page, where he basically said that he's not worried about anything, and if he's come him. So in a nutshell, Melly's mom is calling Trayvon Glass a, and Monique replied back and says, a is when you do something wrong and not take responsibility and then go and set somebody up because you're scared to lay down. She goes on to say that's not the case here. Fetty was Juvie's friend, not Melly. He was only around because Juvie brought him. Now in the comments, somebody says she better find something safe to do. Another person replied back and says, very well said. Another person tagged Jamie, and somebody else said, come get. Now, Ashley was in the comments and says, she even has a bodyguard, child. Another person replied and says, yeah, she need one because she's talking like she's 200 pounds and she ain't even pushing 100. Now, somebody else posted this and says, she's going to need them because she in the wrong city talking. Now, I think that when Melly's defense attorneys found this, they submitted it over to the judge and basically was like, Juvie's sister's out here Melly's mom. Now, the judge did state that if Melly's mom needed security, he would issue her security, and then he found out that she had a bodyguard, and that would be sufficient enough.
That social media interaction caused YNW Melly's mother to have 24/7 security with her at all times around the courtroom. This did make YNW Melly feel very concerned for his mother. He looked very emotional in court and even very nervous. However, when the judge granted the 24/7 security, you could see YNW Melly feeling very relieved and almost wanting to give his lawyer a hug for helping.
Jury entry.
The trial in general took a massive toll on YNW Melly's mother. She's spoken out online to reveal that she was dealing with tons of stress and it could have become very concerning if it continued. This is why we even saw Melly throughout the trial trying to comfort her in the courtroom.
Sorry.
You'll just... Don't do it.
Even with YNW Melly's trial now ended, YNW Melly's mother continues to be called out, and it makes YNW Melly very angry. A report would be shared this week. According to a juror who served in the YNW Melly trial, claims a majority of the jurors wanted to convict him, but one woman who was on the jury was determined to find Melly not guilty, and then she convinced two others to say that he wasn't guilty too. Quote, his mom is lying. It was a 9-3 guilty, not the other way around. Now, this is in response to YNW Melly's mother. After the mistrial was granted, she posted on her Snapchat saying, 9 not guilty, 3 guilty. It was a mistrial. My son will be home. God is still working. However, it gets much deeper than this, as it seems the juror that was causing the issues knew from the beginning she was not going to change her mind at all.
Now, this is from Local 10 News right out of Fort Lauderdale. They said most jurors wanted to convict Melly of 2 counts of the Broward County, the former juror has said. Now, this juror is speaking on the condition of anonymity, which means that they're not going to disclose their identity. The juror blamed the mistrial on one woman who served on the jury who appeared to be determined to acquit Jamel Demons. The juror goes on to say that from day one, she had issues with the 4-person selected, at one point crossing her arms and saying that she was done. When another juror asked to not shut down and she set her feelings aside, she was manipulative, she was rude, she yelled insults at everyone, and she was just had a different opinion. The juror stated that she was there just to cause chaos.
Sources claim this juror wanted to be a, quote, hero, possibly wanting fame to be the one to save YNW Melly's life in this court case, as the original votes was actually 11-1 for YNW Melly being guilty. However, the juror that wanted to be a hero, voting not guilty all by herself, would go on to do something very unexpected.
On the last day of deliberation, the former juror said that while it appeared that there was 11-1 to convict Demons, with the woman pulled 2 jurors aside and spoke to them for a few minutes and convinced them to come to her side. They stated, and I quote, then she came over and announced to the group that they had changed their minds, but when another juror asked why she was speaking for them, the former juror said, adding that the woman then hurled insults, including at the man who was questioning her. And without an agreement, Broward County Circuit Judge John J. Murphy declared the mistrial, and you guys remember that.
As YNW Melly should have been sentenced to either life in prison or even worse. Thankfully, this one hero juror got the trial to become a mistrial. However, the juror that did the interview would go on and mention why they even spoke about the trial in the first place anonymously. This makes YNW Melly's mother look extremely unprofessional.
The former juror said that the decision to speak up about what happened behind the scenes resulted from reports from Demon's mother, Jamie King, who said that they were deadlocked at 9-3 in favor of an acquittal, which again, we find out from this juror, is incorrect. The former juror said it was actually the opposite. She said that she had came out because she said, I don't want someone out there changing my vote. And she then goes on to say that you tell a lie enough, it becomes the truth. Now here's the best snippet. It says the next hearing for the case is on August 4th, and Demon's team, as well as the prosecutors, agreed to start jury selection for the next trial on October 2nd. But again, we don't know if the judge is going to agree to a dual trial.
As with everything going against YNW Melly lately, it would only continue to get worse. YNW Melly's trial is announced to be set now for October 9th. This now leaves Bortland's trial to start on October 2nd all by himself. Sources reveal the state is doing this in a way to give YNW Bortland a chance to make a plea deal. That 1 week's worth of trial before Melly's begins is going to be structured in a way to give Bortland a chance to plead. Tell the truth of what really happened to Sack Chaser and Juvie. Don't have the chance of going to prison for life for a crime you didn't even do. Now the state is very smart for doing this, as moments after the YNW mistrial was granted, Bortland would go on and tweet something very concerning.
A juror inquiry form. It indicates that after further discussions, reviewing the evidence and speaking freely amongst the jurors, we are still unable to reach a unanimous decision. So at this time, what I am going to do is just declare a mistrial. The case was mistried. And again, I want to thank you very much for your time and attention. It's very much appreciated. You're free to go. All right, swear down. Thank you, ladies.
A report would go on and share, YNW Bortland tweets a mysterious message on the same day YNW Melly's mistrial was declared. The tweet shares, mind games don't work on people like me, alongside a handshake emoji, as during the entire trial, YNW Melly's lawyers were playing mind games with the jury, hinting towards Bortland being the guilty one and not YNW Melly. And now we're seeing Bortland subtweeting the mind games phrase that was being shared all over the internet. Throughout the entire Melly trial, his lawyers were saying that it was Bortland being the guilty one. 15 minutes into day 1 of the opening statements for Melly's trial, his lawyers stated Bortland was the one with powder residue on his hands.
Demon's lies, those were his lies. Cortland Henry shows up at Memorial Hospital, Miramar. You don't see him sitting there, but where you will see him sitting is in the driver's seat of a car with 2 bodies, a car riddled with bullets. And when he shows up with a change of clothing, change of shirt, powder residue on his hands, evidencing that he had discharged a firearm. And he lies. He lies about where the incident occurred. He lies about how it occurred. And he lies about not having a phone. I think it was Miss Bradley herself who said, everybody has a phone in his pocket. Not Cortland Henry. There were 3 phones.
As yes, that is YNW Melly's own lawyer revealing that it was always Bortland that was telling the lies to the feds as well. He was the one with powder residue on his hands. He was the last one with Sack Chaser and Juvie when the incident went down. As they would even bring up YNW Bortland's interview when he was having the interrogation where he was caught lying to detectives.
And I'm driving, ducking for my life, trying to make sure I don't get hit. And you telling me you telling me about shit. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to make sure I don't get hit. I'm driving. I'm trying to make sure I don't get hit. You know what I'm saying? What I'm gonna be worried about? You know what I'm saying?
I know it's not for you to worry about.
Shit crazy, bro.
But if you tell me it happened there's got to be some evidence there. There's going to be broken glass, just like there's broken glass over here when you guys open the doors and stuff like that. Okay, there's going to be broken glass over there when the windows got out. There's going to be casings from the people at your car. Okay, there's going to be evidence over there. Okay, right now there's nothing. I kind of think I know what happened because I got information by just telling me the truth, even if it's something that I don't want to hear. But I respect the truth rather than BS. Okay, And a simple question. If you knew who did this, okay? You may or may not know. If you knew who did this, would you tell me? It's either a yes or no question. Answer.
Honestly.
Yeah, honestly. The truth. You wouldn't?
Because I wouldn't want to be a part of that. I wouldn't want to be.
This wouldn't even be the end of Bortland's evidence getting brought up in Melly's trial either. We would then see a forensic scientist that covered the passings go into further detail about YNW Bortland having the powder residue.
So the right hand of Cortland Henry contained 0 particles characteristic of hot residue and two component particles. And the left hand contained 1 particle characteristic of hot residue and 1 2-component particle.
Okay. And can you explain to us what that means?
Basically, overall, there was hot residue present on the hands.
As YNW Melly's team continued like this throughout his entire trial. Due to this, Bortland now might not have any other option but to snitch on Melly, as they're making it very clear that Bortland is the suspicious one. So if he knows that he didn't do the crime, he's gonna want to look out for himself, give immunity by snitching on YNW Melly, as Bortland was then even brought into trial, then given his court date for October 2nd.
Cortland Henry?
Yes, sir, he's present.
That you
For
and
the
Mr.
status conference.
Come on up.
And I guess you're already trial is co-defendant right now. We're set for October 3rd for trial.
You had a motion pending as well?
Yes, Judge. As the court, when we were here the last time, you let him go to church and stuff, you said about working, you would be subject to seeing the schedule. We filed a schedule for the next couple of months.
I saw that.
Be able to work. And I talked to his probation supervisor. She has no problem with him at all. She said that if he's going to go to work, she'd like anybody has to do, provide an itinerary, where he's going to be, how he's going to get there, how it's going to get done.